What's going on, wrestling fans? That's right, you are on WrestlingRumors.net. We are back, and oh, hell yeah, it is March 16th. That is right, it is Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, which is hilarious to me that this fan-created holiday for March 16th, WWE actually had a banner and a full story on it on WWE.com today, where they said it's 316, so that means it's time to celebrate Austin's 316 Day, and I think that's really funny to me that this is becoming an actual thing here, where even the WWE is acknowledging it. So I don't know, but yeah, Doug McDonald right here, as I said, right here. You can follow me at DougOMac or at WrestleRumors, which is the actual Twitter account for this website. Thanks for joining us tonight for Wrestling Warm-Up. It's been a hot minute since we've been here. We've had a lot of things going on, and we've got some busy schedules. I mean, John Alba hasn't even watched Raw live in like 4 weeks. I've been all over the place doing work and all kinds of things. But I am proud to say Mr. Alex B-Song is here joining me.
Yep.
It's been a long time, brother. Good to see you.
Nice. Yeah, we took about as much time off as WWE has with their product.
No, that's been a longer period than us. We were just gone 2 weeks. You're talking months that they haven't done anything productive. Actually, I will say last week, Raw wasn't terrible, and it actually gave us a build towards WrestleMania, which we haven't seen the company do for their pay-per-views in a while. They haven't built weeks out towards the pay-per-view. Now we've known the Sting Triple H thing was going to be there. You knew that the main event was going to be the main event. We knew all those things were coming, but like the IC title match took a few weeks to build towards. That's good. That's probably going to steal the show. The Battle Royal is still getting entrance confirmed for that. And then, of course, we don't know what's going on with the tag team stuff, especially after reports that broke today. We'll talk about that in a minute. We now know that after last week when Lana confirmed that we were going to have a U.S. title match, Rusev versus John Cena, which we all banked on that happening. Randy Orton attacked Seth Rollins at the end of the show for way too long of a segment to be the babyface in this program. I talked about that in length with Frank Manzo of Wrestle Reaction last week after Raw. You can go back at WrestleReaction.net and watch that entire episode. I'll also be with him tonight as well following Raw. But we talked about that and how that segment was what it was, and it's building towards Orton versus Rollins, which is nice. Man, it's finally It's finally all coming together and wrapping into this nice present that we can look at and say, okay, this is going to be the WrestleMania card, and it looks great. I'm not going to lie, the card looks stacked. I'm just not as excited for it as I should be because the builds haven't been there, and we've talked about this for weeks, and it's exactly what you hit on right at the start. It's that WWE hasn't cared that much about the product to build decent storylines. The booking has been bad, except for, I will say, the Rusev John Cena booking over the last 2 months has been pretty decent. It's got me interested in that storyline. But as far as the Battle Royal goes, I think the only thing anybody's excited about is Mizdow eliminating Miz at this point. They have a shot at making that count for Curtis Axel too, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. No, I'm not saying Curtis Axel should win it. I don't even think he should get into the ring, and we'll talk about that in a second too. There's all these different elements that come in. We have a Divas tag team match. We need some more build towards that. The tag team, as we said, the tag team division's in shambles. And of course, I mean, when's the last time it's been relevant? And of course, the IC title ladder match is going to be phenomenal. And that's because of all the competitors that are in it. And the storyline for that over the past few weeks has been entertaining. I've been excited about that. But the main events, we finally heard from The Undertaker somewhat this past week in a segment that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. I called that we were going to get the lightning and everything. I love the fact that we saw that. The Sting promo was terrible, and that's the thing. Like, these are matches that you knew were going to happen. Like, we knew we were getting Sting and Triple H, and they had the promise from Survivor Series to make this thing really, really good. But holy crap, the build for it's been terrible, and the whole premise of this is Sting coming back to avenge WCW is just awful, man. I'm not a fan of that, but tonight's another night. we've got some stuff lined up for Raw. Seth Rollins, straight out the chute. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Seth Rollins will probably open the show up with the Authority. We've grown accustomed to the Authority opening up the show for the most part, each and every week. I thought their promos this past week were really good. Randy Orton did great mic work last time.
Tremendous. Opening crowd ate it up.
I mean, it's been a while since the fans have been that behind, that much behind Randy Orton on the microphone. It didn't seem like, obviously he didn't forget his lines. It seemed like he was more himself, really cared about what he was saying, and it didn't seem forced, and it just seemed natural, and it was actually pretty good. That opening promo was fantastic. I had to go back and watch it. I wasn't around the first 45 minutes, so I had to go back and watch that. But when I watched it, the two things I thought was, man, Randy Orton did a phenomenal job here, and man, Big Show dyed his goatee really, really dark, like just obscenely dark.
I know. When I went back to watch the replay, that's like the first thing that stands out.
So Big Show dyed his hair. That's what it was. So it's.
I don't even know what's going on with those two too, because if I recall, I don't know if they were on SmackDown, to be honest, but they were sent home from Raw, so I have no idea if they're even going to be part of the Authority going forward, which could be bad for the Battle Royal.
Well, I don't think the Authority is going to. It was Stephanie McMahon's fault in the first place that they got sent home. She sent them home. You can blame J&J Security for not coming out fast enough to take care of the Randy Orton situation, because they were still backstage. So there's no purpose and no point to them not coming out and helping Seth Rollins at the end of the show last week. But Big Show and Kane, I don't know what they're going to do there outside of. They're not going to dissolve the Authority until after WrestleMania. Okay, they're not going to break that faction up until after WrestleMania. That's a given. You're going to get Kane and Big Show go fisticuffs and try to eliminate each other during the Battle Royal. That's the whole reason they're in there. It's the same reason they were the last two at the Royal Rumble. These two giant men and whoever, it's got to be a big spot for the winner. I'm not saying that it's going to come down to one other person and Big Show and Kane in the Battle Royal, but at some point Big Show and Kane in the Battle Royal are going to try to eliminate each other, and whoever's going to win is going to eliminate them. I'm not saying it's going to be the last spot, but it's going to happen. It is what it is. Stephanie McMahon's the one that sent them home last week, so I don't think she's going to kick them out of the Authority because it's her fault in the first place. But we're not going to get a match between the two at WrestleMania, thank God. They're just in the Battle Royal. Let's talk about the Battle Royal. So since we have, this Battle Royal coming up, and we don't have all the entrants confirmed, we do know some. Miz was, of course, the first one to say he was going to be in it, which instantly means Mizdow's going to be in it. Now we know that Mizdow's going to be in there. And I'm going to just go ahead and put this out there, and I want to know your thoughts on who you think wins the Battle Royal. We're going to do official WrestleMania predictions, and we're going to one of our predictions for this WrestleMania card is going to be the actual layout of the card. We're going to try to nail down every single thing that's going to happen on March 29th. Next week on WrestlingRumors.net, you can see all of our predictions for everything. But I just want to talk about it with you a little bit, Alex, because you're the voiceless of the voiceless. We don't hear your voice on a lot of things a lot of times. What do you think? Who do you think wins this Battle Royal? Because to me, and let's just throw this out there, Sheamus is supposed to return. I'm not saying it's going to be tonight. I think the biggest reason they've held off on bringing him back so long, he shaved his head bald for Star Wars. He's going to play Darth Vader in Star Wars in December. He shaved his head off, or his hair off. He shaved his head off. He shaved it completely off, no head. No, he shaved the hair off his head for that role. And did a backstage interview with just his beard. He had no hair here, wearing a driving cap like this. And I just thought, okay, well they're not gonna bring him out for the Royal Rumble yet then, because he has no hair, and I don't think they're gonna debut bald Sheamus. But you have Sheamus coming back, and I mean if not tonight. If they're gonna hold up, well, we've had so many reports saying Sheamus is gonna get held off of a return until WrestleMania itself. He'll be a surprise at WrestleMania. He'll either be a surprise entrant in the Battle Royal, or he'll be a surprise entrant in the IC ladder match, which I definitely don't think it'll be a surprise entry into the IC ladder match. If he's going to be in that ladder match, we're going to get him either on Raw or on SmackDown tomorrow night. Which, again, of course, tomorrow night is St. Patrick's Day. They're going to be doing a St. Patrick's Day themed SmackDown. You know that they are, since tomorrow night is St. Patrick's Day. It'd be a perfect time for the Irishman to return and either insert himself into the Battle Royal or insert himself into the ladder match, and then we'd know where he's going to be. But without Sheamus, because if Sheamus returns into the Battle Royal, he's winning the Battle Royal, period. So take Sheamus out of the equation, because if he's in it, he's winning it. Take Sheamus out of the equation. Who do you think wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
For now, like you said, if Sheamus isn't in the equation, I see Mizdow as the likely winner. Though I think it's really wide open. Just like last year, everybody thought that Rusev was going to win it. He wasn't even in it. This year, it could be the same thing, kind of, if you have this dynamic that people think Sheamus will be in it. He ends up not being in it. Perhaps he goes to the IC title match, or he has like some other different role on WrestleMania. I don't know. But I think we could have another out-of-left-field winner. To be honest, I don't think they'll do this, but it would be great for Cesaro to actually repeat as it. I know he's currently the tag team champion, but I mean, that match would likely fall in the pre-show, like we reported on one of the Usos is hurt, so we might not even see that good of a tag team match. It'll likely be on the pre-show. It could be a good spot for Cesaro, but if I had to pick one guy, it's probably Mizdow for now.
So you and I are the only two that are completely behind that. I've said for weeks Mizdow should be the winner of that spot. The last two people in should be Miz and Mizdow. Mizdow throws Miz over, progresses their feud, gives Mizdow the recognition, and he's already won he won a tag team title. He had the slammy that Miz took away from him. He's been holding these toy things that he deserves something like a real trophy. Maybe Miz breaks the trophy on Monday after WrestleMania, and then we finally get the two go at it. Like Mizdow finally attacks him, and we get a Mizdow-Miz feud. I think that'll be fantastic. I really think Mizdow is the one to go there. But I'm not sold on Mizdow. If we don't know about Sheamus, it's funny because likely everyone's going to put Sheamus as the winner. Like we did last year, we didn't know if Rusev was going to be in it or not, but we were just assuming Rusev had just debuted at Royal Rumble, and every single one of us picked Rusev to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and he wasn't even in the daggone thing. So it's one of the, I don't know if I'm going to wait and see if Sheamus is going to be in it, or if we're all just going to wind up picking Sheamus again for this thing if we don't see him before WrestleMania, because Sheamus is going to be at WrestleMania in some way, shape, or form. But is it going to be part of the Battle Royal? I don't know. Mizdow is my winner if Sheamus is not. But I do want to bring up the fact that Curtis Axel is entered into this thing. And my perfect return scenario for Sheamus is, last year, everybody, and we were there, we were in New Orleans, everybody came to the ring with generic, they didn't have entrances really, everybody just came out and got in the ring. The only entrance was the last one.
Yeah, wasn't it Big Show? I think
it was Big Show because they wanted to make everybody believe that Big Show was going to be the winner. Hey, Bad News Burke. No, this is not the go-home show for WrestleMania. This is there's 2 weeks. There's 2 more Raws before WrestleMania. 2 weeks from last night is WrestleMania. Just throwing that out there. But I would love for Curtis Axel to be the last entry, right? Like he's the last. We get the entrance from Curtis Axel. And on his way to the ring, the music hits for Sheamus, and Sheamus brogue kicks him out on the ramp. And he doesn't even get to go into the Battle Royal. And so then he's got another Battle Royal that he won. And that he can continue to say, I've been in the Royal Rumble this many days, and I've been in the Battle Royal this many days, and I'm the winner of both. And it could enhance his character. I love the character. I love this Axelmania thing. It's incredibly entertaining. I love the fact that Curtis Axel has something like this to do because, holy crap, it's really, really funny. It's really entertaining. It's a lot better than the Showster in 2000 when the Big Show was acting like Hulk Hogan. This is not the same thing. This is actually really funny to me. So I really, really like it. I would love for Sheamus to take him out before he even gets to the ring. I think it'd be hilarious. What are your thoughts on that?
It would be a good way, too, for Sheamus kind of get a bit of, like, heel heat. I know if he returns and wins the Battle Royal, you could very well have this, like, big face dynamic where he, like, comes off looking strong, then he turns heel the next night, kind of like Cesaro did. But, I mean, I'm not opposed to that idea. I would like to see Axel actually enter in the Battle Royal, probably be a long shot to win it, but have some kind of, like, good showing in it. But just to have him, like you said, just get eliminated or not eliminated again, just have his spot taken over, you can further that character that he portrays. Sure, the Axelmania thing might drop because we don't have WrestleMania going on, but I'm sure he can find some other way to kind of get that character some momentum again.
Oh, man, that Axelmania thing has nothing to do with WrestleMania anymore. Like, it has absolutely nothing to do with WrestleMania. It's all just that he is taking the Hulkamania gimmick and running with it himself. And I'm telling you what, if we get to the Royal Rumble next year and he still has a countdown that says 365 days, I'm going to lose my mind. Because I think this is great. It's a lot like Mizdow, like everyone's in the chat room saying. It's got that comedic, satirical quality to it that's hilarious. It's a very big troll tactic, and I think it's great because he literally took what people were saying on the internet, saying, well, what the heck, Curtis Axel did not enter. And they, again, I said it the Monday after Royal Rumble, they could have squashed that whole thing because we complained about it here on this show. We complained about the fact that Curtis Axel never entered, and so, but Eric Rowan didn't take his spot. You know, usually in Royal Rumbles like that, when someone takes somebody out, I mean, go back and look at, was it 2004 with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley, when Mick Foley took out Test or somebody, and Stone Cold said, "Get in there," or whatever, and Mick Foley comes out and goes after Randy Orton. Usually people that attack somebody else take their spot, but Eric Rowan didn't take a spot. He came in, he attacked the Wyatt family, popped over the top rope, and they never talked about, like, and he left. He just left, like, Bray Wyatt's still in there, but he just walks away like he got eliminated, but he wasn't in the match, and he didn't get eliminated. He could have just kept destroying people. But man, I would love it if this thing just carries over. You could maybe if Mizdow, you know, in a trollerific world with these two gimmicks working really, really well, if Mizdow goes over Miz and starts, what if Mizdow did this like Macho Man thing and they recreated the Mega Powers in this trollerific way? I don't know.
If they were the final two, the roof would
oh my god,
the figurative roof would explode.
That's the thing. See, if Curtis Axel gets the entrance, it gets the only entrance at WrestleMania before Sheamus comes out and rips his head off, because he's headless Sheamus at this point, and he wants a head. He's the headless horseman now. He has become a myth. If Sheamus comes out, you're going to get boos for Sheamus instantly because the crowd's eating this Axelmania thing up, and he's getting pops now when that remixed version of Mr. Perfect's music hits. Curtis Axel's getting a pop, and I love it. I think it's great. I'm absolutely enthralled and excited to see what they're going to do here, because they're missing the boat if they don't run with that freaking idea that I just came up with off the top of my head. If they don't go with the entrance thing that I just talked about, they're missing the boat on how to carry over and even add more mystique to the Curtis Axel dynamic right now. I think that's perfect. That's if Sheamus is coming back to be a part of the Battle Royal, which we all think that's probably the spot for him. I still think Sheamus is going to come back and be a part of the IC ladder match, but that means he has to return either tonight, tomorrow night on during the SmackDown tapings, or next Monday night. And I seriously think that if he does return before WrestleMania, he's going to be in that IC title ladder match. Because I mean, look at the names that are in that IC title ladder match. These are guys that have either been main eventers or been really close to being main eventers. And we, you know, obviously Sheamus is in that lower tier main event spot, like your Dolph Ziggler's. So I would totally expect Sheamus, if he returns on television before WrestleMania, to be a part of the ladder match and not the Battle Royal, because he doesn't need to win the Battle Royal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The thing is, too, like you said, like Sheamus doesn't need that trophy. You can give it a rising star, some rising heel, and they can do a lot better things with it than Sheamus.
Yeah, and Bad News Burke, I'm not saying Sheamus won't get the entrance. I'm saying Axel gets the entrance for all we know, and then, of course, while he's coming out, you have Sheamus get an entrance. He comes out, kicks him in the face, and gets into the ring, and does this whole Sheamus thing. And then I don't know how he turns heel the next night. He's got to go. The whole rumor about the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is not just getting the trophy; they're getting an IC title shot. You could then have Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. If Daniel Bryan wins the IC title, or whoever wins the IC title, then you could have Sheamus go be the heel after that. But that brings us to the IC title ladder match, which we're going to get some more dynamic from all of those guys tonight on Raw. Stardust, which Goldust isn't a part of this thing, which is they have just totally squashed that whole thing, which is amazing to me in this day and age where 3 years ago it's the match that everyone wanted to see at WrestleMania, Goldust versus Cody Rhodes, and now we're not going to get it. We're going to get Stardust, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth. Who else is in that match? Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose, and there's one more
Ziggler.
person. Yeah, Dolph Ziggler. So you got 7 guys in this match. That leaves room. That's an odd number for a ladder match. It used to be 6 to 8 in the Money in the Bank. I could see them adding Sheamus as the 8th guy. I don't think they're going to leave it at 7.
If they don't add Sheamus into it, it just makes sense for you to put Goldust in there for the whole dynamic. He was even on Twitter. It was before Stardust closed the SmackDown as the taping, before Stardust actually inserted himself into the match by stealing the title off Bryan. Goldust was on Twitter before the result even went down, saying, I'm a whatever time IC champion, I have experience with this. So you thought that he would be in this match, but for now it doesn't look like they're going to go that route, which again makes it seem like Sheamus will likely be included here, and that's why he got bumped out of the match.
Yeah. So if they don't get if we don't see Goldust added to this match in the next three shows, you can go ahead and bank on Sheamus being in that match. But if Goldust does get added, that'll be 8, and they're not going to add a 9th. So that's when you have to go ahead and assume that Sheamus is going to be in the Battle Royal, and he'll win it. Looking at the tag team division, and we'll look at some more tag team stuff tonight on Raw. Of course, Kid-Zaro are the tag team champions, and they're phenomenal. I love every minute of them as a tag team. It's probably one of the best tag teams they've had in a very long time. Between them and the Usos, the Usos have a great in-ring dynamic and always have, and I love the fact that they're as popular as they are. But you have the New Day, which has been an ultimate failure, and Los Luchadores are in this title picture, which there's no reason for this. The Ascension have just descended to the point of absolute wasteness. They are the waste extension at this point. There's no reason for them to be in this. They are #wastes. And I don't see them being inserted in this match, but the Usos aren't going to be in it anymore. They were going to do a Fatal 4-Way, Tag Team Turmoil or something for the titles in the kickoff show probably, and it was going to be Kid-Zaro versus the Usos versus the New Day, probably Freebird rule. They can, whichever ones want to defend the title can, and out of the 3, and then of course Los Luchadores. But we learned today Jimmy Uso had shoulder surgery. So that takes the Usos out. So now you're just going to have 3 teams, and 2 don't even deserve to be in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be bad.
That just goes to show you know who's going to win. Unless WWE feels like they need to save face and put titles on the New Day.
The only way they could do that is if they turn heel, and I just, what's the point by now? They've screwed them up so royally with their booking. What's the point of just randomly putting the titles on them? You're not going to get this huge reaction. If they just win it as faces, it would be brutal. If they decide to turn heel, it would be refreshing. But I just don't see them actually having the gall to do that.
Right, and but you have the Lucha Dragons are wrestling on Superstars and doing dark matches with the Ascension and getting squashed every single time. So they're not going to have the Lucha Dragons in this thing. But what's the point of now who the legitimate contenders were the Usos and Kid-Zaro? What's the point of even having this match now?
Yep.
The Kid-Zaro is going to win. Again, unless they throw a monkey wrench in and you have New Day win just for the heck of it for one night, and then they lose it again the next night. I don't see the purpose in this even happening, but that's where we are with tag teams, and it's definitely going to be the kickoff match because there's no purpose in having this match on the actual card. It's a 3-hour card with some really big matches that are going to need about 30 minutes each. I mean, the Sting Triple H will at least go 35. Undertaker Bray Wyatt will at least go 35. The main event will go 35. I mean, we're not going to get, the ladder match may go 45 to 50 minutes. The Battle Royal will probably go 35 minutes. So you're looking at
35.
I'd say the Battle Royal will probably go 25 to 30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 2 hours right there. Maybe 2 hours and some change with the IC title ladder match, the Battle Royal, Sting and Triple H, the main event, and then you got to look at Rusev, John Cena. Those matches, John Cena, Rusev, Sting, Triple H, the main event, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, the IC title ladder match, the Battle Royal, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Those are 6 matches that are probably going to take up most of 3 hours, and then you got to throw the Divas match in there for a cool-down period. You're probably looking at the only match that can be on the kickoff show is going to be the tag team match. Yeah, it's 4 hours. It's 7 to 11 with the kickoff show. An hour of it's kickoff. So, whatever. That's the people in there are saying it's 4 hours. It is 4 hours, but it's going to be an hour of kickoff. So you're going to get one match. That's it. Primetime players as a surprise team? No, that's not going to happen. Primetime players are in the Battle Royal. I mean, we saw people that competed in the kickoff match last year. Cesaro was one of them. Cesaro wrestled in the kickoff match with the Real Americans and then was in the Battle Royal. So, I mean, you could do that, but it's not going to add anything to it but just another daggum tag team. So it doesn't mean anything. It's just waste. But John Cena Rusev, let's talk about this dynamic because we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about the Lana situation. Lana's already out. She's gone. We talked about me and Frank on Wrestle Reaction last week. I brought up the fact that Lana's going to film a movie for WWE with Edge, and so the kickoff is at 6 this year. There it is. It's going to be a 4-hour WrestleMania. Kickoff's at 6 apparently. I don't know. I haven't looked at that.
Probably 5 hours. 1 hour pre-show, then
Sweet
4.
Lord.
Jesus.
Jeez Louise. It's going to be ridiculous. I'll have to look into that. I haven't looked at the actual format of the show yet. I'll look at it. But it definitely wasn't like that last year.
Might have started at 5 last year, I think.
I can't remember, man. I was there, and it was a crazy day, so I can't even remember. I just remember not having any voice when we did our podcast episode afterwards, talking about Daniel Bryan winning. But either way, whatever it is, the kickoff show will be whatever, and it probably won't. Whatever. Yeah, guys, I'm telling you, I don't remember this stuff. I don't remember these things. You can say whatever you want to say in the chat room. I don't give a crap. I said Sheamus shaved his head off earlier. I don't care. You can say what you want to say. But it's one of those things where I'm interested to see what they do to fill the other time because they need some other. You've got big matches that fans are going to be invested in. John Cena versus Rusev, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, Sting versus Triple H, Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker, the main event, the ladder match. You need the tag team match. You need the Divas match. You need the Battle Royal to cool off the fans. So, I mean, I guess if you're going to do 4 hours, that may give us even more time for these matches. I don't even know how long some of these matches are going to run. It's going to be crazy. Be absolutely crazy. If these freaking tag matches or the Divas match get 30 minutes, that'll be interesting. And it won't be very fun to watch. But John Cena, Rusev, Lana's gone already. This past Monday night, Rusev got pissed that Lana gave John Cena the U.S. title match, and then he yelled at her in his stupid, Bulgarian chant, whatever he said. And we didn't see her on SmackDown, and Todd Phillips tried to talk to Rusev backstage. Rusev wouldn't comment on it, so there you go. Lana has probably been written off for the next few months while she's doing the movie, which is probably I wouldn't say it's a great thing because it would be nice to have Lana at WrestleMania. I'm not gonna lie about that. But we know that Rusev in his first outing at a WrestleMania is going to have a special entrance. He's going to have marching Russian soldiers at the beginning of this at the beginning of his entrance. That's going to be crazy. I don't know when's the last time someone's first WrestleMania they've gotten a special entrance like that.
Was Wyatt's first WrestleMania last year?
Yeah.
So he had the live theme.
Right. Well, yeah, he had the live theme and
special. Like,
no, it was. They had a special entrance before the music started playing live. They had that crazy fire dancer. out there.
That's right. That's right.
He had a special entrance, but that's what I'm saying. Like again, and just like I said on Wrestle Reaction last week, for the people that are crying about part-timers coming back and working WrestleMania and stuff, man, think about it. And the complaint is always that they're not making these new superstars. They are. Bray Wyatt's wrestling The Undertaker in a main event style match. Seth Rollins is in a main event style match with Randy Orton. Roman Reigns is in the freaking main event. These are new guys. This is Rusev's first WrestleMania. He is going against John Cena and has a special entrance. Bray Wyatt was at his first WrestleMania, went against John Cena, had a special entrance. They are giving these new guys the chance to become superstars. It's our jobs as fans to acknowledge that and to support that. Hey, Jazz, I'm not arguing that Cena's probably going to win. If this is the time, if there ever was a time for John Cena to not win at WrestleMania, it would be this match. But, it's WrestleMania, it's John Cena, so I don't know if I can bet against it. But in my opinion, this would be the time where Cena actually loses at a WrestleMania. Yeah, he lost to The Rock, but when's the last time Cena's really put a youngster over, especially at WrestleMania? Very few and far between. And I think this is the year to do it. I mean, with like Bray Wyatt, you knew Bray Wyatt was going to bounce back and be relevant again. All he had to do was take a month off of TV and then do some killer promos, and boom, Bray Wyatt's relevant again. But what are you going to do with WrestleMania 27, John Cena lost. Let's remember why and how.
Mm-hmm.
It was to set up 28. It was to set up 28, and he lost there so that he can win at 29. Don't give me that crap. You knew the Rock is what cost him the match there. So unless you have somebody come out and cost Cena the match here, I don't know how he loses, except for he should lose. But the most important thing is that they are making new superstars, and they realize that they have to. Look at the crop of guys that are in NXT, and we have a new brand that we can watch, a new brand that I can be excited about. I watch NXT every single Wednesday, and yeah, Kevin Owens admitted today that he had knee surgery and he's going to be out for a little bit, but he'll be back and better than ever. It's really not going to slow him down that much. It wasn't a major knee surgery, so I'm excited about the NXT guys. I just don't want them to come up right now. We have all these guys that are already there, and WWE is trying to make them into superstars, and they just need to keep focusing on making those guys superstars. You don't have to bring up all these NXT people yet. Charlotte, sure. The Divas division needs legitimate wrestlers, because the only two that I consider legitimate right now are a tag team at WrestleMania.
And the one's probably on her way out soon too.
Right, and AJ Lee's not going to be around forever. Bring up Charlotte. Charlotte and Natalya can go. Natalya can go, but she's more arm candy for Kid-Zaro right now, which I love her in that role too. But I mean, the whole, and I will say Nikki Bella's gotten better. Brie Bella is okay. Naomi is a good wrestler, but we're talking about putting on the caliber of matches that the NXT women's division's putting on. Those girls can't crack it. They can't hang. So if you're gonna bring up, Charlotte, then do it. But the rest of them, man, especially the guys, leave them in NXT right now and let them stay there. I don't want to see a lot of NXT guys in the Battle Royal. I don't want to see a lot of NXT guys at WrestleMania, because they're not going to be there anyway. So just accept that. They're going to do some stuff at Access the weekend before, and that's how that's going to work out. Yeah, I love when guests come into the chat room and they're not ballsy enough to put their own name in, and then they start attacking us, through the show.
Actually, he's
Appreciate you being
wrong.
there.
He's wrong because last year they had a 2-hour pre-show, which I'm pretty sure began at 5 because they wouldn't have it go from 6 to 8 because they usually start Mania at 7. So that would mean there would be 6 hours. And I do think that was the case because there was a long 2-hour pre-show, then you had the 4 hours of actual like pay-per-view stuff. So
Boom.
6.
Get it. There you go, guest. Can't even put your real name in there. Yeah. So okay. So Seth Rollins should return or should accept Randy Orton's challenge tonight. Do you think we see a stipulation there? We haven't got there's not a stipulation on the main event. There's not a stipulation for Bray Wyatt and Undertaker, at least not yet. There's not a stipulation for Rusev, John Cena. There's no stipulation really on any of these main matches. There's no stipulation for Triple H Sting yet, even though we'll talk about Sting in a second because we're going to get off of here in about 6 or 7 minutes, and I want to hit on Sting before we get off of here. But there's no stipulations on anything yet. And after the brutal beating and going all over the place through the arena this past week, do you think we see like a no DQ false count anyway or anything like that for Seth Rollins and Randy Orton?
I think in terms of like main event Mania matches that are best suited for a stip, it's this one and then Sting and Triple H, which we'll hit on a bit more. I could definitely see some kind of no DQ thing because these two have like the long history unlike the other main events. So I think you could get some kind of no DQ like Extreme Rules, whatever stip you want to throw on for this match.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get some. There's no stipulations on anything yet, so I would appreciate to see a stipulation added on one of these matches, and that one probably be like you said, the most deserving of a stipulation. And then of course Sting Triple H. Sting is going to be on Raw tonight. Apparently, that's what we're getting from both Dave Meltzer on through Wrestler Observer Radio and from Mike Johnson at PW Insider. Sting is expected to be on the show tonight. It's not being promoted by WWE though, and that's weird to me. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I get the whole surprise factor, but you're trying to build towards a match between these two iconic characters. Sting has only spoken through a modulated voice in a promo that aired last week, and I'm hoping they give him a microphone this week because of all the fan backlash of that video. You know, when the fans responded so negatively, I think they said, okay, if he's going to appear either this week or at the Go Home show or both, he needs to have a microphone one at a time. So I think we'll see Sting with a microphone tonight in some way, shape, or form. At least they need to do Sting on the microphone. This whole Dolph Ziggler was the one speaking for Sting last week. That's the dumbest rumor I've ever heard. There's just some times where people make up rumors for wrestling news sites that are just ridiculous. We didn't even I don't even know if we posted that story on the site, which I really hope that we didn't, because that's the dumbest thing I ever saw. I saw it on a different website, and I was just like, what? Why? It was not Dolph Ziggler. It was Sting. They just modulated his voice. I don't understand why people think it's that hard to do that. But the fact that that an agency is seeking scarecrows for a special entrance, and that may or may not be, I don't know why it would be Bray Wyatt. People were talking about it being Sting because of the whole crow thing. I don't know. It's interesting to me. I wish they would just use his WCW theme music. I really wish they would, and give him something where it's just completely black and ominous. But it's funny. Like, and Frank and I talked about it last week. Why in the world are we getting these weak reactions when Sting's video starts? Because the fans don't even know if he's actually going to be there or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why he hasn't been on TV more. I know they only signed him for 6 appearances, but dude, they should have had him at Survivor Series, had him at that Raw where he interfered, and then had him on 4 straight weeks till WrestleMania.
I mean, he's drawing in he would draw massive viewership numbers. We saw it was Raw after Survivor Series, in which he wasn't part of. They almost peaked at 5 million viewers in hour 1, and people probably turned off 15 minutes just because they knew they wouldn't see Sting. Now you have WrestleMania now. They're barely eclipsing 4 million viewers just weeks before WrestleMania. They're typically at 5, but there's no star power. You have Lesnar rarely on there. No Taker until WrestleMania, no Sting until now. So, I mean, it would have been perfect to utilize Sting here. You'd probably have a lot better viewership numbers.
And they're not
in the product.
Yeah, and they're not even promoting Sting tonight.
Yeah, they should. I mean, they'll probably do what they normally do at like 8 o'clock. Like as the show starts, they'll be like, "Oh, Sting's alive tonight." They should do this stuff like right now, like before the show gets underway. Instead, they have already confirmed that Snoop Dogg's going to be hosting some special guest next week. Put Sting in your ads, not Snoop Dogg, not Wiz Khalifa. With all due respect, very good artist, but.
Yeah, but okay, well, let's talk about that because you had Wiz Khalifa go 8 minutes, and both Divas matches combined went 4.5. And it's the build to WrestleMania. WWE, what are you doing? We know that you watch our shows because you've been trying to, block our stuff on YouTube. So what are you doing for real? There's an average of 125 to 200 people on here live every single Monday. There's an average of 400 people on Sundays before pay-per-views, and we usually get thousands of people watch throughout the week. So what are you doing? You've got this is we speak for our whole fan base saying it's WrestleMania season. What are you doing? You've built one feud. You've built one feud right, and you've made one ladder match stand out as the match to watch for WrestleMania. So what's going on? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. They better do a lot of work tonight and next week. They like this week and next week better be the best Raws that we have seen in a very long time to really build towards WrestleMania, or the WrestleMania buys aren't going to be that great.
I mean, the main event's so poorly sold. I mean, Lesnar's probably not going to be on there today. Tonight, Lesnar probably won't be on there. We'll probably see then just Reigns and Lesnar get physical on the last Monday Night Raw, but other than that, what's been memorable? Anytime Paul Heyman's got the mic and cut promos, he's done well, but, there's no, spotlight or focus on Reigns. It's just poor booking, and if Lesnar just bolts after WrestleMania, you basically wasted that entire thing.
I mean, what's the point of bringing in a slimmer, babyface Mark Henry on Thursday night to have Roman Reigns punch him and spam and take him out?
All because Lesnar won't be here this week. They won't pay him for a date, so they have to have Mark Henry come in so Reigns can continue to look strong instead of, putting a Lesnar on there, having Reigns and Lesnar actually interact. No, they have to have Mark Henry do it because they won't pay Lesnar for one extra date.
It's the most ridiculous thing. And just to say this, by the way, Headless Sheamus, let's talk about it. Someone named themselves Headless Sheamus after I said what I said earlier. Whereas Bo Dallas, by the way, I fully expect Bo Dallas to be part of that Battle Royal. I don't know if they're going to announce it. They didn't announce a lot of the guys last year that were in it. He's there when they did the whole birthday thing. I mean, he's been working superstars and stuff too with Zack Ryder and them. But I fully expect Zack Ryder to be part of the Battle Royal. I fully expect Bo Dallas to be part of the Battle Royal. And yeah, Bo Dallas has a creepy-looking goatee right now. It just looks super molester. He looks like Chester Child molester. It's bad. It's a creepy thing to add to his gimmick. But Raw starts in 45 minutes. The kickoff show starts in 30. That may be when they promote Sting, which is dumb. But be on the lookout for some things tonight. Hopefully they'll get us more excited. I don't know what they're going to do with Mark Henry and because they're teasing Mark Henry and Roman Reigns have another interaction. To me, that's so dumb. I don't get it. I don't understand. Other than, of course, it's because Brock Lesnar isn't there, and it makes him look strong. The last thing they tease in the 5-point preview is more stuff from Bray Wyatt and the Undertaker. But you're only going to get backstage vignettes from Bray Wyatt and maybe something in the ring. You're not going to get the Undertaker. Maybe we get more mind game-ish stuff from the Undertaker. But they're talking about holding the Undertaker off till WrestleMania. So don't expect to see the Undertaker tonight or next week. We're gonna get more segments from them into the build as we go along. Alex, if there is one thing you're looking forward to tonight on Raw, what is it?
Frankly, just Sting speaking in a WWE ring for the first time.
And that's if that even happens.
Yeah, if that happens.
Raw has not been very interesting. So for me, that's the same thing for me. If Sting's there, I want to see a microphone in his hand. I want to hear one of the most charismatic speakers in the history of professional wrestling actually get to speak. What are you doing, WWE? You're ruining this thing. It's Sting versus Triple H. Yes, the match will sell itself. The match will sell WrestleMania tickets. The match will sell WrestleMania. But You're killing me with the way you're building. Again, it all comes down to terrible booking. It all comes down to horrible booking, and we all know who's holding the pen at the end of the day, and that's Vince McMahon. I don't know why this is where we are, but this is where we are. Catch us on next week. Next Monday night we'll be here. I don't know if I'll be here the whole time, but Alex will be here. Chris Walter will probably be here. I'm going to try to get John Alba on here next week. It'll be the go-home show, wrestling warm-up, and then, of course, we will be on before WrestleMania. Whatever time it starts, we will go on an hour before that. I will let you guys know when that'll be as well. And, of course, we'll break down the entire card. We'll talk about predictions. We'll talk about what we think the card's going to look like, and hopefully we'll have everything will be solidified by then. And, of course, Wrestle Reaction immediately following Raw tonight. It'll be myself and Frank Manzo, maybe Joe Omega if he's there. That'll be awesome. But we know that he's had some issues getting there on Monday nights. But it will be myself, Frank Manzo, on WrestleReaction.net, or you can watch it right here on WrestlingRumors.net. Immediately following Raw, we're going to break down what happened on the show. Hopefully we have some good stuff to talk about. And, of course, we'll talk about 5 classic WrestleMania matches, maybe 6 classic WrestleMania matches that you're going to want to watch before WrestleMania 31 goes live on March 29th. Thanks for watching tonight. We had a really good crowd. I thank you for that on our return after a 2-week absence. We hope that you guys enjoy Raw. Always follow us at WrestleRumors for live tweeting throughout the show. It's what honestly keeps us entertained throughout the entire thing. For those of us that are live tweeting, you can follow Alex at GlassModeALB on the Twit machine. Of course, it's a lot more uncensored there, so buyer beware. The voiceless of the voiceless gets a voice on Twitter. Watch out. And then, of course, you can follow me at Doug O'Mac. I rarely check that, but I'm there. And then, of course, at WrestleRumors is where it's at. We'll catch you on the next one. Enjoy wrestling. Enjoy Raw. Peace.